Tonight, one more test for the federal budget.
What Canadians want is to invest in their country. That's the opportunity for parliamentarians to vote today.
A question of confidence and the potential for another election. Plus, reinforcements made in London.
Important step in ensuring long-term sustainability of our defence cluster.
The local manufacturer arming Canada's Arctic. And the power of AI changing LHSC cancer care.
It's been fantastic.
How the technology works and what it means for patients.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the federal budget and one more confidence vote happening tonight. If the government can't get it passed, it would trigger an election. Mike LeCouture has the latest on just how much support this budget has earned.
Now, the Liberals don't have the votes just yet, but it would seem the numbers are shifting. Here's what we know right now. The Bloc Québécois and their MPs have already indicated that they will vote against this budget. Conservatives have hinted strongly that they will do the same. But the Liberals, by mid-afternoon, did get one more vote on their side.
I will vote yes to avoid an election. I will vote yes in the confidence that the Prime Minister heard my pleas and committed to meeting our legally binding commitments under the Paris Agreement, committing to reconciliation, committing to action for adaptation to protect us from the extreme events we can no longer avoid.
Now, the key here is the NDP and their 7 MPs. They have not indicated just yet which way they will vote, but the math is pretty clear. The government either needs 2 abstentions or one more opposition MP to vote for their budget. If they don't get either of those 2 scenarios, the government could fall because this is a confidence vote. However, Mark Carney, the Prime Minister, early today, seemingly confident that he will be getting the votes, saying that this budget is the right one for this time, and he believes that it will pass through Parliament.
What Canadians want is to invest in their country. A confident budget, a budget that moves forward, brings us together from local infrastructure to new ports, new future, more independent, stronger Canada, better Canada for all. And that's the opportunity for parliamentarians to vote today.
Now, all eyes will be on the House of Commons at 6:45 Eastern Time. That is when this vote will happen, and that is when we know if Prime Minister Mark Carney's government will survive. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Funeral arrangements have been made for the 3 teenagers who were killed in a car crash near Hanover last week. They were all students at John Diefenbaker Senior School in Hanover. There was only one vehicle involved in the crash, rolling several times once it left the road. A 4th teenager was in the vehicle as well. They were taken to hospital in critical but stable condition. The parents of a St. Thomas teenager involved in a serious crash Friday say she will not survive. Hadley Dennison is a grade 12 student at Parkside Collegiate. Her parents say she's been declared brain dead as a result of her injuries, and they're now in the process of identifying possible organ donation recipients, something she had only recently registered for. The crash happened Friday afternoon just outside St. Thomas involving a grain truck. Dennison was a passenger. Police say the driver was also taken to hospital but is expected to survive. Provincial police say someone from London was killed in a crash in Oxford County last night. Police say it happened just after 6 p.m. between 2 SUVs southeast of St. Mary's. According to police, a passenger was rushed to hospital but did not survive. They say 2 other people have non-life-threatening injuries. Police in St. Thomas say a sudden death yesterday is not considered suspicious. Elgin County OPP and St. Thomas Police had cordoned off an area around a detention pond near Centennial Avenue and Elm Street. They say a 58-year-old man was reported missing from central Elgin, and his body was found Sunday morning just outside his home. The 3 remaining men charged with violently robbing a London jewelry store 3 years ago are expected to plead guilty next month. Each of the 3 men are in their 20s, and they're all from the Toronto area. They face several charges each, including armed robbery. During the heist in January 2023, the owner of London Gold Buyer was shot, requiring several months in hospital recovery. One man has already pleaded guilty in this case, and the court heard this morning the other 3 will do the same on December 2nd. London police say 5 incidents involving hate-related property damage are likely connected. Police have released these images of 3 suspects. They say the incidents took place between May and September, targeting businesses and vehicles, describing the crimes as gender-based and violent. A fire broke out at a home in North London this afternoon. According to London firefighters, there was heavy smoke when they arrived on Bloom Crescent, estimating damages at about $400,000. They were not able to say what started the fire, but they say it's likely not suspicious and no injuries have been reported.
Good evening. We started the day with some intense lake effect snow and streamers downwind of Lake Huron. Snowfall amounts varying in through Huron County and eastern Middlesex County, upwards of 10 to 15 centimeters in some areas. So this one band was persistent through the day today, affecting Oxford County. All watches and warnings have come to an end. Temperatures on the hour between 0 and +5. In London, we're holding steady at 2 degrees. We still have some flurries coming off Lake Huron. You can see in Huron County and Perth. Oxford County still dealing with some snowfall. That drive from London through Oxford County, Woodstock area today, encountering a wall of snow at times. It will be easing off tonight, and the flurries will continue to ease. So in terms of our winds, also diminishing. Temperature will drop down to about +1 at 8 o'clock. Still the chance for some light flurries in London, but overnight skies go partly cloudy as high pressure moves over the Great Lakes. Coming up, I'll take you through the forecast. We'll look ahead at the rest of the week. Temperatures close to where we should be for this time of year. But it's getting cold out there overnight. Temperatures dropping between about -3 to -6, and even wind chills. So all of that slush and snow out there today will be freezing overnight. So side streets will be quite slippery. I'll take you through the extended forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Carlyle?
Thanks very much, Julie. A local broadcasting legend, Bill Brady, has died. Brady was born in Windsor in 1932, moving to London in the 50s. Working in radio, he was considered a pioneer of the call-in show format in Canada. Brady also hosted the game show Act Fast on what was then CFPL TV. He eventually became senior vice president for the Blackburn Group, which owned 6 radio stations, the London Free Press, and the TV station. Then in 1996, he was inducted into the Canadian Association of Broadcasters Hall of Fame. Bill Brady was 93 years old. London's mayor is pushing back against a councillor's efforts to make big changes to his 2026 budget. Daryl Newcomb has the latest from City Hall just days before deliberations begin.
Councillor Susan Stevenson says the public's told her that the tax increase in the mayor's budget is too high.
Given the 16% increase over the last 2 years, that they're not willing to accept a 3.6.
Stevenson has proposed several amendments to the mayor's budget, including lowering the tax increase by 1% by taking $8.8 million from a reserve account.
We have financial pressures coming, and how do we show the public that we're not going to just put that tax burden on them in 2028?
I'm not going to raid a reserve fund on a one-time basis to provide a tax relief. That's just not responsible or sustainable.
Mayor Josh Morgan rejects Stevenson's comparison to his use of $8.43 million from the 2024 surplus to reduce the tax rate. He says his plan includes backfilling the amount over time with debt reduction and annual service reviews.
It's back to what she attempted to do a couple of years ago, which is a one-time reduction by raiding a reserve fund that would have led to a tax increase this year. We would have started this year 2% higher.
Meanwhile, Stevenson also plans to oppose repaying the health unit's $2.4 million debt early. She points out the province is supposed to be responsible for paying 75% of the health unit's operating budget each year.
If it were our loan, we would save all the interest, but we only paid 21% of the amount. So why would we pay 100% of the loan?
Back in 2020, the health unit moved from 50 King to City Plaza, and the debt was incurred renovating and fitting up its current location. The mayor suggests $241,000 of operating funds are instead repaying the loan each year, and he isn't willing to see important health services compromised. The health unit says it's already cut 22.5 full-time positions over 3 years, and, quote, We are dangerously underfunded. In fact, we're the second lowest funded health unit in the province on a per capita basis.
I think Londoners right now don't want to pay more than their portion, particularly when it comes to the province. And we speak a lot about not allowing the downloading, not to backfill the province. This is 70 to 75% of $2 million. It's a significant amount.
Londoners can weigh in at a public participation meeting on Tuesday prior to budget deliberations on Thursday. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
London's General Dynamics is involved in a new project developing an all-terrain vehicle which officials say will help defend Canada's Arctic sovereignty. With more on the impact for the local manufacturing sector, here's Brian Bicknell.
It's called the Beowulf. It's a dual-body, all-terrain vehicle designed for extreme Arctic environments. General Dynamics Land Systems has teamed with global defense manufacturer BAE Systems to offer the BVS-10 Beowulf platform for the Canadian Army's Domestic Arctic Mobility Enhancement Project, or DAME. The head of London's Economic Development Corporation says it reinforces London as a major player in defense manufacturing.
It's a great announcement today and an important step in ensuring long-term sustainability of our defense cluster.
In a news release, BAE Systems says the platform ensures long-term availability of spare parts and support for the Canadian Armed Forces, along with interoperability with military units across North America. Lakosha says this bodes well for GDLS, which currently employs 1,700 people in London.
We know that the Prime Minister had made several announcements about the importance of the defense sector throughout Canada. In London region, land-based defense systems, with all the innovations at GDLS, Armatech, research and development capacity at Western University and Fanshawe College, and a whole host of suppliers, we are well poised for further growth.
GDLS has not revealed the financial value of the Beowulf project. The federal government's new budget includes $81.8 billion in defense spending over the next 5 years. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Officials at London Health Sciences Centre say they're now making use of a major advancement in cancer care. With more on the new AI-assisted technology scanning patients in just seconds, here's Rita Ismail.
Cancer patients in southwestern Ontario now have access to one of the most advanced radiation therapy systems in the country.
It just came on the market over the last couple of years.
London Health Sciences Centre has launched the Varian Ethos, an AI-powered linear accelerator that can complete scans in as little as 8 seconds. It's one of only 4 systems in Canada, and LHSC says it's already changing how care is delivered.
It's been fantastic. We've implemented real-time adaptive therapy for some prostate cancers, bladder cancers, and we're moving into other treatment sites in the near future, such as head and neck and breast cancers as well. So it's been a game changer for sure.
Ethos uses artificial intelligence to detect daily changes inside a patient's body, from tumor size to shifting anatomy, allowing oncologists to custom plan treatment every single day instead of waiting days for a new CT scan.
Having technologies like this in place that could increase our efficiency, decrease wait times, but at the same time providing precise and accurate radiation therapy and lower side effects.
The Verspeten Family Cancer Centre treats up to 4,500 radiation patients every year. LHSC says faster scans and more precise targeting mean better patient experience.
This gives us an opportunity to implement really good cutting-edge technologies that allow us to pursue treatment paradigms that aims to better spare healthy tissue and treat the tumor itself, which means better clinical outcomes.
With Ethos now online, LHSC says it can treat 10 to 20 more patients every day, and they hope to expand the use of the technology to even more cancer types in the coming months. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
A new skilled trades training center is under construction in Walkerton. Officials behind the project say demand for these skills across Midwestern Ontario will only rise in the years ahead. Scott Miller reports.
Work is underway on a multi-million-dollar skilled trades training center in Walkerton.
We just started breaking ground on this project. This is going to be our local 1059 training center, which is going to offer all kinds of training opportunities to not only our members, but new young workers in the area that are trying to get into this industry.
The Laborers International Union of North America, Local 1059, represents 6,000 construction, industrial, and service sector workers in southwestern Ontario. They build and install everything from roads, sewers, and water mains while working in industries like utilities, nuclear, and construction.
Traditionally, our members would have to travel to London to do a lot of the training for apprenticeship and trade school. We're hoping in the next 12 months, 14 months, we're going to be able to start to do that here in this region, so that way they don't have to travel back and forth. So it services the region, our members, and the community as well.
Why Walkerton? Well, it's in the middle of what's expected to be a booming decade for Midwestern Ontario, with nearly 10 years of nuclear refurbishment at Bruce Power still to come, the strong possibility of the construction of 4 to 5 more nuclear reactors at Bruce, and a proposed pumped energy storage facility in Meaford.
So this region is going to be building and building as time goes on. Bruce C, we talked about the Meaford storage facility, so we have to be able to service that industry. Those contractors are going to be looking for skilled labor, and we want to provide that in this area.
This region is booming. Bruce County's booming, and it's a perfect spot for it here in Walkerton, centralized location.
Rock says this kind of facility, which will provide hands-on training for thousands of workers each year, would likely be required just to replace the roughly 10% of local skilled tradespeople retiring this year, not to mention the future prospects for the Grey, Bruce, and Huron County region.
Last year we did 60 pre-apprentices that we sent out to different companies in this region. That's going to probably double next year. So yeah, we're just trying to keep up with the demand, again, with succession planning on retirees, and also, again, planning toward the future.
As a former co-op high school teacher, it's full circle for me. Promoted the trades all my career in high school, and now to be able to welcome this training center here to Walkerton for young people to learn a skilled trade is just fantastic news.
In Walkerton, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Still ahead, taking time for an intimate audience. The touring musician playing a special show for struggling Londoners. Plus, after the confetti, what's next for the CFL? Major rule changes on the way after awarding this year's Grey Cup.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvlondon.ca, your home for news.
'Tis the season for helping others, and the Business Cares Food Drive is how we can all help Londoners in need. On November 29th and 30th, over 40 participating grocery stores and hundreds of volunteers will be collecting food and donations. Over 40% of people who use the London Food Bank are children, so your support is needed now more than ever. Let's ensure everyone has a happy holiday.
A lesson in preparedness for Canadians from across the Atlantic. In Sweden, the government has put a defense strategy in place, instructing citizens how to prepare in the event of war. With more on that approach in the current geopolitical context, here's Javier Beauchemin.
Every Swede says the government has a role in case of attack or crisis.
This is the shelter room.
Nicholas Ivert's task is to convert the storage space attached to his home into a bomb shelter.
This is all the material which was originally provided by the Swedish state.
Ivert bought this home 3 years ago. Ventilation equipment, airlock, big iron doors included. It was outfitted during the Cold War.
Here you can see a map of all the shelters.
It's one of more than 64,000 shelters in Sweden.
I have to open up for the neighbors, and everyone are allowed to come in here.
Ivert once contacted authorities to see whether it would be possible to decommission the space, turn it into a small apartment.
If you would have asked 20 years ago, maybe, or 10 years ago, but nowadays, there's no chance.
The government says escalating geopolitical tensions, the invasion of Ukraine, have changed the world. Enlisting all citizens to prepare, even if it's only to pack an emergency kit, is part of a concept called total defense that the country's defense minister says is key.
We're not going to get the bang for the buck on the defense investment if we don't have strong and resilient societies.
Canada's Cold War-era shelters have largely been destroyed, abandoned, or turned into museums.
automatically close in case of an explosion on the outside.
In Sweden, public shelters neglected in peacetime are now getting an overhaul.
Inside there are the power unit.
This one, built in the 1950s that doubles as a parking garage, has been upgraded to provide shelter to 1,200 people.
We have a warning system with air raid shelters, air raid alarm and so on. And the air raid shelters is the physical way to protect the population.
Louise Ribbing's love of animals has led her to volunteer at the Royal Stables, riding one of the King of Sweden's horses for exercise.
She's kind of frisky, yeah.
Yes. But she also joined an organization called Blue Star, originally created to protect animals like cows key to the food chain during wartime. It now extends to caring for pets in times of crisis.
It's something that I can help with in the event that the society needs me, and my country needs me.
Now, everyone here, of course, hopes this will never have to be deployed. But being prepared is key to military planning, they say. Geneviève Boschman, CTV News, Stockholm.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders are Grey Cup champions, clinching their first championship in more than a decade last night. And as Scott Hurst reports, that victory may mark the end of an era for the CFL, with drastic changes on the horizon.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders are returning home to a hero's welcome today. Their Grey Cup victory in Winnipeg ends a championship drought for the Roughriders, who last won the Grey Cup in 2013. But to give the Montreal Alouettes credit, they made the Saskatchewan players and fans wait until the final play to start celebrating. The Alouettes with a potential chance to tie it on a last-second play to the end zone, but the pass fell incomplete. Grey Cup MVP, Roughriders quarterback Trevor Harris, with this message for his teammates.
And without you guys, this doesn't happen, man. We're champs forever. Let's go!
All of this happening as the CFL is set to make some significant rule changes over the next 2 years, including a major overhaul to the field of play. Smaller end zones, shorter fields, and moving the goalposts from the goal line to the back of the end zone. The changes are not sitting well with some die-hard fans who argue it's taking away the uniqueness of the Canadian game, while others say the changes are necessary to modernize the CFL and attract a whole new generation of fans. But first, a chance for the province of Saskatchewan to party, as the city of Regina will be hosting the championship parade tomorrow. Scott Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
Canadian Music Hall of Famers Blue Rodeo were in London this weekend. They played Canada Life Place Saturday night, but before that, the band's keyboardist played a free show at the London Coffee House. With more on that gig, here's Brent Lale.
There's no other audience I'd rather be playing for than this audience right here.
Traveling across Canada with his band Blue Rodeo, Mike Boguski is taking time in each city to make someone's day.
He's in a stratosphere that's a little bit different than ours, financially and notoriety, but yet he's coming to a place where people are in need and what have you, just to, yes, serve as a pick-me-up.
The cost of love and understanding. Prior to the show at Canada Life Place, the keyboardist stopped by the London Coffee House drop-in space to play a free concert.
If I can just bring an hour of music to people who may not be able to come to tonight's show, that's pretty awesome, because, recognizing people as human beings with faces is what it's all about. Everyone loves music. Not everybody can afford a ticket.
The London Coffee House has a long history of serving a cup of coffee or just giving support to both men and women who are either homeless or at risk of homelessness.
Creating accessibility to the arts, to things that bring that sense of joy and hope and really inspire people through creativity is wonderful. I mean, we look at the whole spectrum of wellness, right? And the basic needs, housing, that's one piece, the survival. And then when we can add things like this that really just bring that sense of meaning and joy and purpose and connection through community is super exciting.
On this tour, Mike began playing for local food banks at libraries. But when in British Columbia, he discovered a community shelter and started playing for the unhoused.
If I can find somebody who is willing to believe me that I actually am Mike Boguski from Blue Rodeo who wants to play your community shelter, I'll be playing. But, if you're under 40, just Google Blue Rodeo. We're a popular band, and, I want to play your shelter.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
For the record, I'm someone under 40, and I have seen Blue Rodeo perform.
Yes.
They're very good. I have to say. I saw them live in
fantastic
Regina
band.
a couple years ago. Julie, we're talking colder temperatures, especially overnight. Last we heard from you, especially with the mess from today, could be freezing for us.
Yeah, and it was messy out there. Slushy conditions. I was walking down the sidewalk, and cars were driving by, and the slush was flying out there this morning after the lake effect snowfall today. Our high hit 2 degrees, and just in the last hour, we've been hovering at that 2-degree mark, -1, our low temperature, but tonight, -6, and we'll be dealing with a wind chill, so it'll feel colder than that. On the hour, 2 degrees, winds out of the west-northwest, but the winds have eased off quite nicely, and that shuts down the lake effect flurries. Now, we still have some flurries, as you can see, through parts of Huron County, southern Bruce, a few light flurries in Oxford. So areas that are still picking up the light snow on the hour will see a couple more centimeters. But again, the trend is to wind all of this down as high pressure builds over, and that, of course, will put the brakes on the lake effect snow. Our focus will then shift to this area of low pressure developing, and this will be driving to the south as we head through the overnight and into tomorrow. Now, the main moisture will stay well off to the south, but it could kick up a bit of cloud cover and a slight risk for some mixed precipitation towards Windsor. Sarnia, you'll see some cloud cover out of this as well. Elgin County, some clouds along that northern shoreline of Lake Erie. But north of that, I am expecting a fair amount of sunshine. So the forecast tomorrow is varied depending on what county you live in. Overnight will drop, as I mentioned, to -6 in London. If you are along the lake shore, the temperature sitting at the freezing mark, but much improved in terms of road conditions as we head into tomorrow. Across the country, out west, it's cool in areas to the north dealing with snowfall, but some warmth to the south. So the jet stream riding high and then dropping down over the Great Lakes, ushering in that cold northwest wind. And again, aligning those snow squalls into Middlesex County last night and early today. Winding down, though, the flurries out there tonight. So that next area of low pressure will cruise by to the south tomorrow, and watch as it just clips by toward Essex County, so you can see that mixed precipitation. And again, the majority of that moisture staying to areas to the southwest. In London, we'll see some cloud cover, but we are expecting to start the day with a mix of sun and cloud. By the afternoon, skies will become mainly cloudy. Now, the temperature first thing in the morning, don't let that surprise you, at -6. We will recover quite nicely in the afternoon to 5 degrees, and winds will be light and variable. Mix of sun and cloud should carry us into the early part of the afternoon before the clouds roll back in. Now, over the next 7 days, temperatures close to where we should be for this time of year. Mainly sunny conditions expected for your Wednesday, and then increasing cloud cover Thursday. Thursday night, we'll have some rain come in. This next weather system will have a southerly component to it, and that will push the temperature up 7 degrees with a chance of showers on Friday. Now, in behind that, the temperature dips, so we could see a bit of lake effect flurry action heading into Saturday with a daytime high of 5. Mix of sun and cloud on Sunday, a mix on Monday. And we could see 9 degrees a week out, so some milder air coming back into southern Ontario. Now, temperatures this week, again, right around where we should be for this time of year. That lake effect snow has been starting our weeks off on almost a winter wonderland out there. So in terms of things calming down this week, we are expecting some sunshine for tomorrow in Midwestern Ontario. You still have some flurries out there, though, tonight, especially toward Huron County. So we'll see some peaks of sunshine tomorrow. Mix of sun and cloud on Wednesday and +4. It'll be 6 degrees on Thursday with a chance of some nighttime rain and then showers on Friday. A bit of mixed precipitation on Saturday and mainly cloudy on Sunday. Daytime highs, Carlyle, no major swings this week in terms of extreme warmth or extreme cold other than the next couple of nights, of course. Dealing with some pretty chilly overnight lows, though. Dropping down to between -3 and -6. That's quite cold for this time of year.
I'd agree. Thanks very much, Julie. Still ahead, changes to Ontario's sex offender registry, why the government wants to make more information public, and the lengths politicians are willing to go to get it done.
Coming up tomorrow morning at 7:10 in Prizetown, we want to hook you up with an incredible Christmas getaway.
Magic of lights, car passes, and at 8:35, you're listening for Dallas Smith tickets. Good luck.
Canada's inflation rate dropped slightly in October, down to 2.2%. According to Stats Canada, the 0.2% drop was related to falling gas prices and slower growth in grocery prices. Those decreases were slightly outpacing higher prices for cell services as well as home and auto insurance. Bank of Canada officials have cited stable inflation as one of the main reasons for pausing rate cuts last month. Property owners in London and across the province are receiving new property assessment notices from MPAC. More than 600,000 notices will be mailed out by the end of this year. Changes reflect ownership changes, new construction, or other property updates. Despite the notices, property values will still reflect assessments from January 2016. Officials say if owners believe their property's assessed value is incorrect, they should file a reconsideration request by the end of March. Canadian home sales were down in October, with prices falling as well. According to the Canadian Real Estate Association, sales were down 4.3% compared to October 2024. The national average sale price was down about a percentage point. On a month-to-month basis, home sales were up slightly, a sixth increase in the last 7 months. Car insurance premiums are rising, especially for young drivers. Pat Foran has more on the factors behind those rates.
For now, Jordan Hickson is just getting a feel for the road with his mother by his side.
Ideally, the car for him would be bubble wrapped, but in the real world, I would just want something that's safe.
The type of car matters because teens have crash rates nearly 4 times those of drivers 20 and older. Choosing the right vehicle is critical.
You're going to want to choose a car that isn't too small and also that isn't too fast. Not only is it going to be cheaper to insure, but it's also going to give that teen driver a better sense of their speed.
According to rates.ca, a 20-year-old male driver with no claims and no driver training could have to pay more than $13,000 in annual premiums if he was driving a recent model Honda Civic. A 20-year-old female driver with the same experience would have to pay over $9,000, about $4,000 less.
Either young drivers or otherwise new drivers statistically are more likely to have a claim, and not only that, are statistically more likely to have a very expensive claim.
The survey found drivers under 25 are 66% more likely to have speeding tickets, 53% likely to have any type of ticket, and 17% likely to have an accident. The best thing for young drivers to do is gain experience and remain accident and ticket-free.
For every year that you can demonstrate as a driver that you've been driving and you haven't had any accidents, that's an indication to each insurance company that you're a much lower risk.
Consumer Reports says young drivers need a car with features designed to keep them out of a crash, but that also have high levels of protection if an accident does happen. Researchers gave top marks to the Honda Civic, Toyota Corolla, and Hyundai Tucson. With insurance rates so high, it can pay to shop around.
As we found, and as we find over and over, loyalty doesn't pay. Insurance companies want to attract you with lower rates.
Over time, these things could help you save thousands of dollars a year in premiums. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Red arrows across the board to start the trading week. Losses in the technology sector drove the TSX 250 points lower. In New York, the Dow fell more than 550 points. The Nasdaq dropped almost 200. The Canadian dollar was slightly lower today. On commodities, gold was off about $20 an ounce, and oil slipped 9 cents a barrel. Later on CTV News, the annual Kettle campaign underway. How the local Salvation Army is helping families this holiday season.
Dallas Smith is bringing a special one-night-only unplugged show to Centennial Hall on November 29. And Pure Country 93 and CTV London have your chance to win. Enter online at ctvlondon.ca for your chance to score a pair of VIP tickets.
Welcome back. Police in St. Thomas say they've laid a manslaughter charge related to an assault from the summer. They say the attack happened in August and the victim died from their injuries in September. A 34-year-old man was initially charged with aggravated assault, but that's now been upgraded to manslaughter. Provincial government officials say they're considering changes to the province's sex offender registry, which would make some information, which is currently restricted, open to the public. As Siobhan Morris reports, the Premier has even suggested using the notwithstanding clause.
The Ford government's contemplating opening up Ontario's registry for sex offenders.
To protect our communities, protect them from people like these. I can't even put the word out there. They're a bunch of diddlers. I can't stand them. They make me sick.
This comes a few weeks after Canada's highest court struck down mandatory minimum sentences for possession of child pornography.
What is the Supreme Court thinking?
And in September, hundreds of people showed up to a Niagara area courthouse after someone on the sex offender registry allegedly broke into a home and sexually assaulted a toddler. That's prompted many Niagara councils to ask upper levels of government
to amend the Sex Offender Information Registration Act.
Legislation to be introduced next week will start the ball rolling.
Have meetings with our stakeholders to see what information can be released.
Doug Ford already clear about some specifics he wants shared.
You have a sex offender and he's living next door down the street and you have a bunch of kids. You want to know about it.
It's going to put some people at risk, I think.
This former Toronto police detective explains the problem is what people do with the information.
Are we going to be looking at vigilantism in neighborhoods, demonstrations in front of homes?
With more eyes watching, there may be more calls to police.
Because the person who's on the sex offender registry was walking past a community center. And people are going to say, oh, I'm calling the police right away because obviously he's in breach.
I asked the Solicitor General if he'd thought about possible vigilantism.
And that gives a person who's on the registry a greater awareness that, you know, they must behave, they must uphold the laws.
The Premier expects this proposal to be challenged in court, but isn't deterred.
I'll use the notwithstanding clause in a heartbeat.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
President Donald Trump is urging Republican lawmakers to vote to release the Jeffrey Epstein files, a complete reversal of his previous position. Trump has maintained he has nothing to hide. However, questions about his relationship with the convicted sex offender has fueled speculation and led to fractures within the Republican Party. Several Republicans have indicated they're willing to break ranks and vote to compel the U.S. government to make all of the documents on Epstein public. Meanwhile, Trump says he may soon speak with the Venezuelan president while building up America's South American military presence.
We may be having some discussions with Maduro, and we'll see how that turns out. They would like to talk.
U.S. military leaders say they recently carried out another strike on a small boat in international waters, which they say was carrying illegal drugs. U.S. forces have carried out a series of strikes in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific, killing at least 83 people. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration is lifting all restrictions on commercial flights that were imposed during the 43-day government shutdown. Airlines were allowed to resume normal schedules as of 6 a.m. this morning. The unprecedented order to cut flights at 40 major American airports was put in place November 7th, affecting thousands of flights. FAA officials had said it was necessary to ease the strain on the system brought on by serious staffing shortages for air traffic controllers. Tomorrow on CTV News, a classic Christmas character brought to life. The Grinch is coming to town, and he's coming straight from Broadway. That's tomorrow on CTV News at 6.
Kicking off the week with a fresh snowfall, lake effect snow, creating some issues on area roads this morning. Thank you to Nancy Allen for taking this photo. Looks like a winter wonderland in your backyard. We're back into a mix of sun and cloud for your Tuesday. Temperatures will be back between 5 and 6 degrees as we move through the week. The next chance for showers moving in Thursday night.
Canadian cancer researchers say cervical cancer rates are no longer declining. They say Canada was on track to eliminate the disease, but as Sarah Plowman reports, that's no longer the case.
Every day, hundreds of Canadians hear those dreaded words, "You have cancer." For Linda Wu, that moment happened 35 years ago when she saw a doctor for her pregnancy and learned she had cervical cancer.
If I hadn't gotten pregnant, I wouldn't have known. I would have been like every other woman who discovered it when it was too late.
A new report shows after a long period of steady decline, cervical cancer rates have plateaued, even though experts say it's preventable.
This really highlights that we aren't making the progress that we had seen before.
For women aged 35 to 55, cervical cancer is actually increasing.
The rates now in 2022 are the same as they were in 1992.
The report's authors point to several factors behind the shift.
Increased transmission of human papillomavirus, or HPV as some people know it, low uptake of the HPV vaccine, lower cervical screening rates.
Dr. Amanda Selk says cervix cancer doctors are noticing more cancer cases, and some are more advanced.
Cervix cancer is a terrible, terrible disease, and if we can prevent it for so many people, if you can just get yourself screened and follow through with treatment. We treat people all the time, and they do really well.
Most cervical cancers are caused by human papillomavirus, HPV. Vaccines are offered in schools, but coverage continues to lag below targets. Screening methods are also changing as provinces move to HPV testing, a move the Canadian Cancer Society wants all governments to follow.
We want to be able to say by 2040, no one will have this cancer in Canada.
The report did show that cancer mortality rates overall have gone down, and mortality rates for lung, colorectal, and bladder cancers have been declining rapidly. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Fredericton.
The Salvation Army's annual Kettle campaign is underway, supported by volunteers across the city. With more on their fundraising efforts this holiday season, here's Lauren Stallone.
The Salvation Army in London has officially launched their annual Kettle campaign.
It's been in London for over 130 years now. It's our main fundraiser for the Salvation Army every year. And this year our goal is $650,000.
The iconic kettles are spread out across the city at 45 different locations.
We have wonderful volunteers who stand at a kettle.
Chuck Carter has been volunteering with the Salvation Army for over 11 years.
We got to help out the best we can.
He says he was inspired to volunteer after his grandfather, who fought in the Second World War, told him about a story that he says has always stuck with him.
If you needed a blanket, the Salvation Army would give it to you. Other organizations, they would charge you. So he said, if you're going to help anybody out, Salvation Army's the place. And I've always remembered that.
Carter says he is thankful to have the opportunity to give back to the community.
The world's in a bad shape right now, and it's just nice to, to give out to somebody else that's less fortunate.
Organizers say funds raised from the campaign stay local, offering support to over 17,000 people each year.
People are making impossible choices around, do I pay my rent? How do I get my groceries? How do I help with Christmas for my family this year? And that's where we step in, and we can't do it without the community's help.
The Salvation Army says it is thankful for the hundreds of volunteers who have dedicated their time to helping London's most vulnerable. As for Carter, he isn't ready to stop giving back just yet. You've been doing this for 11 years. Is the plan to continue to do it?
Oh, as long as I'm living.
Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
Another headliner has been announced for next year's Rock the Park Festival. American folk rockers the Lumineers will play Harris Park Wednesday, July 15th. Tickets go on sale this Friday morning at 10 a.m. Welcome back. Finally tonight, turning a seemingly meaningless phrase into an educational opportunity. With more on the 6-7 craze, here's Carol Charles.
The number 6-7 could represent a year or an age. 6-7. Or just simply two random numbers. 6-7. But now it is an anthem. Yes, 6-7! If you know a member of Gen Alpha, you have probably heard the phrase 6-7! Even I can't avoid it. This, my daughter getting her fix of 6-7 before she heads off to school.
Did you just say 6-7?
And teachers who are inundated with the phrase turn it into their Halloween costume.
Breakfast is over in about 6 or 7 minutes.
No one can say with certainty where this phrase came from. But I checked in with Michael Grandsue, a grade 8 teacher at St. Maria Goretti Catholic School, to give me some insight.
It's like mid, 6'7", 6 out of 7 out of 10. It could refer to LaMelo Ball's height, this basketball player, and it's something I think that a drill rapper from UK said.
And exactly what does it mean?
Really has no meaning. It's just some brain rot, crazy phrase to jump on and, you know, be disruptive and have a silly moment. All right, students, so for today's language arts, we're going to take up our work on 6-7.
Grandsue is taking an innovative approach with his students, using hip-hop to add meaning to the 6-7 meme, with a new tune called 6-7.
6 up, T.Rock with Gen Z slang. 6-7, no question, me did our thing.
He says the approach builds confidence, creativity, and classroom community.
That even if something is a popular trend, we don't have to follow it in a mindless way. We can add meaning to things.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My mom's Navy Kevin. Met my dad in 1967 at the Montreal Expo.
What else significant happened in 1967?
In 1967, the first Big Mac was released for 45 cents.
The anti-Vietnam War protest.
In 1967, the first heart transplant was done in South Africa.
Grandsue is a founding member of the Hip Hop Educators, who provide media content, workshops, and other educational support to inspire students.
Mr. Grandsue is a fun teacher. He raps, he MCs to us, he creates assignments like you wouldn't think no teacher would do before.
I actually like this version better because it actually teaches you about the year 1967.
And let's not forget the Leafs' last Stanley Cup victory was in 1967. Fast forward to 2025, Dictionary.com has named 6-7 Word of the Year. Carol Charles, CTV News.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news after Monday Night Football. Bye for now.